Welcome back to Next Gen Adventures MuleSoft tutorials. This is in a second video of this tutorials. If you haven't watched the first video of this tutorials, please go to Next Gen YouTube channel and then you can find the introduction of the MuleSoft, where you will know the MuleSoft components and how we can integrate the different systems with the MuleSoft. Now let's get started with our very first MuleSoft application, which is MuleSoft HelloWorld program or application. So let's click on create a Mule project, then name your first project. Here I'm giving HelloWorld. You can give your desired name and then click on finish. So once you click on the finish, so it will create in a project, and that project will contains different kind of folder structure, which is in a source main Mule, source main Java, source main resources, and test resources and all. And also it will create in a POM file where you will have the all your uh, dependencies and the plugins and all other information about your project. So now whenever you create a project, by default MuleSoft Studio will create in a .xml file with the project name, and you can rename it if you want. Right click on it and refactor and you can rename it. So now let's create in a simple flow which will return in a hello world in the response when you make a call to this application via the HTTP protocol. So now come to Mule palette, where you will have all the list of components or the palettes and the connectors. So let's search for the HTTP. So here you will find the basic security filter, listener, and the load static resource, pooling resource, and request. So now here we need an inbound, which is a trigger point to our application, right? So let's drag and drop the listener, and here once you drag and drop that, it will automatically create a flow. So if generally a flow contains the listener, error handling, and the process. So listener will have a connector configurations path. So where the connector configuration is in a global configuration. Once you click on the plus icon, here you will find the protocol, host, and the port numbers. So host is nothing but where you are hosting this one. So by default, if you want to run this application on your own machine, it's going to be the all interfaces or the generally the local host is 0.0.0. And what's your protocol, either it's an HTTP or HTTPS. For today we will create an HTTP protocol with a simple application, and the port is nothing but where you want to host your application on your server or in your machine. So you can choose your port which is not used by the any other applications in your system or your laptop. So here we will use the 8081, and then you will have the TLS and advanced configurations, where you have a different configurations. But forget about all this. We can have a deep dive session in further videos when we will deep dive into the HTTP listener configurations and HTTP modules. So now if you want to test your port whether it's available or not, you can click on the test connection and it will check your port whether that is available on your server or in your laptop or not. So let's wait for this until you will get a test connection successful. So here you can see my port 8081 is available on my system, and I can use that port for my application to deploy. So now click on OK, so that it will create in a global configuration with the listener config, and here I am giving the path, which is nothing but my on that port, and this is the path where I'm saying my application is going to deploy. Okay, so I'm clicking on the save to save this application, all my changes. So now we want to return in a hello world in return, right? So for that we need to set in a payload. So for that we are drag and drop the transfer message. So here if you see what kind of output format do you want, right? So here let's say we want to provide in a response with a JSON, and here we can give the a message saying hello world, welcome to sorry welcome to next gen adventures. Okay, so this is what the message I want to provide to my clients who are going to triggering the application at 8081 on hello world. Okay, so now I'm saving my application. So you can do the control yes, or you can come here and you can save all. Okay, so now I am right clicking on it, and I am going to deploy or run this project on my local machine, on my local embedded server in the studio. So once I'm clicking on this run, here you can see application is building first. So where it is trying to clean this project, and it will download the dependencies what we have mentioned in the form file. So once it is created that, so it will build in a jar file, and then it will deploy into the our local mule home. So here if you can see, so this is my mule home and mule base where my MuleSoft studio and the server is running. Okay, so if you go to this folder, and you can okay, so this is my MuleSoft home, I mean the server home. So here if you can see the apps hello world, so the application is deployed here, and you can see the hello world log4j and the hello world one. Okay, so here that is my mule home, and you can see these are the different patches it was applied onto my local server, and this is the complete log of the MuleSoft application deployment, and at the end you will see whether the application is deployed or not. So if you can see here, application is deployed and the server is running, and my port is already started listening to the requests which are coming in. So let's go to Postman, and oops, let's go to Postman. So where you can hit the application on the HTTP, right? So let me create a collection saying 02 hello world. Okay, so I created in a collection. Let me create in a request. So here we need to give we have created an HTTP protocol with localhost, and my port number is 8081, and then we have added the path as hello world, right? So let me go ahead and hit it. So here you can see we got a response whatever we set in the transfer message. right? So if you go back and check here, here we did not added any kind of loggers, so that's where we haven't seen any logs over here. Okay, so let's add two loggers, which is in a start and end, to see our request coming in or not. Okay, so let me add start log. So here if you enable the data wave, you can give in a data wave format, so which is a started, and then I'm adding in a end logger, which is end. Okay, so let me run this again and we can see the responses. So every time you run this application, your application will come to this apps folder. Okay, so now the application is deploying, right? So now you can see the jar comes first here, and then it will unzip it, and then it will deploy. So here you can see the jar is added here into the Mule apps folder, and then it will extract this and it will deploy the application. So once the build is done, it will add that jar file into this location, and then once the MuleSoft server started, then it will the MuleSoft server will unzip it and it will deploy the application. So here application is deploying. So so here you can see application is deployed. So let's clear the logs, and then let's go to Postman again, and let's hit this. Okay, so we haven't changed anything onto the response, so still you'll see the same. And then here comes, so here you will see the start and end logs in the console. So that's it for this video. So it's a quick intro to the MuleSoft Studio and the application. So how we can create the HelloWorld program. So in next videos, we'll look deep dive into the each module and each connector, and we'll learn in deeper way of the MuleSoft. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching.